Now, I know that some of us are bouncing back from financial pitfalls, maybe losing a job, and other things as it relates to COVID-19, and I get it, but 2022 is the year to push forward and move on, okay? And this video is for you if that's exactly what you're looking to do. And if nothing devastating or detrimental happened to you last year, but maybe you're not happy in your current job, or maybe you're considering making a career transition, or you're just trying to figure out what your next career move should be, this video is for you too. Welcome back to the official Thompson Resume Writing Company YouTube channel, where I share weekly tips and hints on how to upgrade, refresh, or prepare your resume and or LinkedIn profile for your job search. I am Tamika Thompson. I am the owner and resume writer at Thompson Resume Writing Company. I specialize in transforming bland, lackluster resumes and LinkedIn profiles into powerful selling tools that help corporate mid-level, management, and executive professionals land interviews 2 times faster. Now, this week's video is going to be a little different from my past videos if you've been following my channel. This year, I'm looking to switch up my content and play around with different topics. So as a result, today's video is going to be talking about different career goals that you should have on your goal list this year. Now, I know that some of us are bouncing back from financial pitfalls, maybe losing a job, and other things as it relates to COVID-19, and I get it, but 2022 is the year to push forward and move on, okay? And this video is for you if that's exactly what you're looking to do. And if nothing devastating or detrimental happened to you last year, but maybe you're not happy in your current job, or maybe you're considering making a career transition, or you're just trying to figure out what your next career move should be, this video is for you too. For the next few minutes, we are going to deep dive into a number of different career goals that you can strive to achieve this year, as well as some tips on how to take them from a notepad, a Word document, or a spreadsheet and turn them into reality. Let's get right into it. Before we get into the goals themselves, I want to take a little bit of time to discuss some pre-work that you should do before you actually start setting your goals. Because most people, and I've been guilty of this myself, especially at the start of the new year, you sit down, you take a piece of paper, you write out all the things that you want to accomplish, and that's it. You sit that piece of paper to the side, or you stuff it away in a drawer, and you just think that they're going to happen, and that's not the case. So here are some things that you should do before you actually set a goal in stone, like before you make it a hard goal on your list. The first step is to figure out or have a general idea of what it is exactly that you want to do, or at least have a general consensus. So it's not enough just to say, hey, I want to make more money. Well, what does that entail? Does that mean that you may go for a promotion? Does that mean that you're going to ask for a salary increase? Does that mean that you want a new job? Try to figure out or pinpoint exactly what it is that you want to accomplish. Number 2 is to know exactly what you'll need to do and the steps that you'll need to take to get to that goal. So for me, for example, for 2023, I plan on going back to school and getting my master's degree. In order to get to that point, I know that I need to research schools, I need to research tuition, I need to figure out if I'm going to need like a recommendation letter, I'm going to need to complete the application. I know that there's going to be some steps leading up to that. So for you, if you're looking to go for a promotion, or even if you're looking to maybe search for a new job, that may mean that you'll need to reach out to a career coach or a professional resume writer. It may mean that you need to set up a couple of meetings with your boss to figure out what that's going to look like and what information needs to be on that document, or what you'll need to present in order to go for the raise or go for the promotion or start preparing for your job search. Number 3 is to understand or know exactly how this goal is going to tie into your overall career strategy. So for me, with going back to school, it's going to make me eligible to receive higher paying jobs in the future, leadership jobs in the future. I may be able to teach at a university or a school one day. There are all these opportunities that will be open to me once I receive my master's degree in marketing. For you, whatever goal you have, think about how this is going to play into your larger, your career plan over time. So the next job that you get, is it going to be the leadership job that you want? Is it going to be another stepping stone to the leadership job that you want? Is it going to enable you to work for your dream job one day? Think about how this is going to play into your overall strategy. What is the end goal, and how is this step or this goal in particular going to help you get to that larger goal? Number four is to determine or figure out the resources that you'll need to help you achieve the goal. So, with me going back to school, I know that I'm going to be reaching out to several different universities over a period of time. My resource may be looking through some online catalogs, it may be scouring through different websites. For you, when it comes to switching a job, will you need a resume writer? Will you need the help of your manager? Will you need to maybe join an association? Do you need to get a certification in order to be eligible for said job? Do you need to go back to school to get, a degree to be able to get the new job? Figure out exactly what you need and everything that's going to help you in order to achieve that goal. And maybe it's not a resource, maybe it's people. The fifth thing that you want to do is break your goal down into actionable steps. So write out everything that you need to do leading up to that goal and number them. So what's the first step that you're going to do to get started? What's the second step after that? Is it a follow-up? Is it scheduling a meeting? Is it getting some on someone's calendar? Figure out the third step. All the steps that you'll need to take until that goal gets checked off. Everything that you need to do. Next, you'll want to create some sort of a timeline. So for me, like I said, I'm the queen of writing down goals, not giving myself any deadlines, not giving myself a timeline, but somehow, some way, everything on this list is supposed to be completed at the end of this year. No, you want to give yourself a timeline. When do you want to have the job? When do you want to have the promotion? And make sure that your timeline is realistic. So again, referring back to myself, with me going back to school next year, I know that at the end of this first quarter, I need to have at least research between 4 to 6 schools and move forward in terms of looking at tuition prices, looking at the length of the program, figuring out how I'm going to pay for it before I begin applying and everything like that. So over the span of this year, I'm going to be completing different tasks at different times so that when next year rolls around, I'll be logging into some school, going back to school and earning my master's degree. So give yourself a timeline, make sure that it's realistic, and make sure that you're not being too hard on yourself. You may not be able to complete a step of this goal every single week or every single day. So make sure that you're being easy on yourself, you're not being too hard on yourself, and that you're being realistic with your timeline that you're giving yourself to complete the goal. The last thing that you want to do is find a way to motivate yourself and celebrate yourself as you progress towards your goal. I am a big fan of celebrating myself. I will take myself out to sushi days. I will get dressed up and take myself out for drinks. I love celebrating myself, especially when I accomplish something or when I achieve something that's really big to me or something that was on my goal list. I'm also big on vision boards. So over my bed, or on the side of my bed, I actually have a vision board with, a bunch of different cutouts, pictures, words from magazines, etc., that kind of illustrate the goals that I have for this year. And that motivates me every single day to get out of bed, even when I don't want to. So maybe it's a vision board for you. Maybe it's an alarm. Maybe it's an app. Maybe celebrating yourself looks like taking yourself out. Maybe it's a glass of wine. Maybe it's booking a nice hotel suite for yourself. Figure out a way to motivate yourself and celebrate yourself as you move forward. All right, now that we've gotten that out of the way, here are 14 career goals that you may want to add to your 2022 career goal list. Technology was, of course, already a thing before the pandemic, but when COVID-19 hit in 2020, with so many people being forced to work from home, we relied heavily on it, not just to do our jobs, but to communicate and to make sure that we're managing projects and that we're able to work effectively even though we're not in the office. In today's job market, tech skills actually matter just as much as, if not more than, soft skills. So if there's a new trending software or program in your industry that you do not know and you want to check out, I highly encourage you to do so. Or maybe there's a software that you're not the best at currently, but you want to get better at it, I encourage you to do that as well. Keeping up with technology is the best way to keep yourself marketable and employable. Number two is to earn a certification. So going back to school to get a bachelor's degree or a master's degree is not the only way that you can expand your knowledge. Certification programs, one-day courses, or master classes where you earn something at the end is also a great way to have education and knowledge that you can put on your resume. The great thing about certifications is that they do not take very long to complete. Some span over a course of a couple of days, some are self-paced, some take a couple of months or a couple of weeks, and some you can complete in just under a year depending on the program. And the best thing about certifications is that you don't have to wait the full 4 years or 2 years to put them on your resume as you would a master's degree or bachelor's degree, because you can get them done quicker. Now, I know as you're enrolled in your bachelor's or master's degree programs, you can put it on your resume, but it's not completed. You have to put the anticipation date or the anticipated completion date. With the certification, if you zip through it at the end of a month, then you have something new to add to your resume at the end of that month versus having to go back to your resume in 4 years and put that graduation date on there. Some people seem to think that certifications don't hold as much weight on a resume as a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, but that couldn't be further from the truth. For some industries and some roles, certifications are just fine and can actually sometimes weigh more than a bachelor's degree or a master's degree and can supplement that. So some examples of this would be in marketing. There are several certifications you can get for marketing. There are a couple of certifications you can get for human resources, and there are certifications that you can get in project management. Number 4 is to get a new job. If you are unhappy in your current job, if it's toxic, if you're miserable, if you're underpaid, if you don't like your boss, if you've been there for a while and you're just over it, get a new job in 2022. In November 2021, there were over 10 million jobs that were available for the taking. So you do not have to be there if you don't want to. Go ahead and reach out to a resume writer such as myself or a career coach to help you figure out what your next move should be. But if you do not want to be at your job, you don't have to. Put it on your list in this year to get a new one that makes you more happy, where you're more fulfilled, or where you're paid what you're worth. Number 5 is to negotiate your salary. So if you have exceeded your KPIs at work, if you've been a huge asset to the company, if you have just been knocking things out of the park, and your salary has stayed the same, that is a problem. This year, try to negotiate your salary with your boss or the higher ups if you have the value and the impact that you brought to the company to back it up. When it comes to negotiating your salary in your current role, you really want to make sure that you're communicating what you've done to the company and why you deserve to be paid more. Maybe you're underpaid in your role and this is not the standard that you should be paid for this position. Maybe you should be paid more. Or maybe everything that you've done has brought in a lot of money for the company and you need to be compensated for that. When it comes to applying to new jobs and negotiating your salary, you want to make sure that you're doing the same thing. Do some research on what the pay range or what the salary range is for that job, and make sure that you know that with your experience and your background, such as your education and the things that you've done in your past positions, that the salary that they're offering you or that you're going for is fair. Another goal that you may want to have on your list is to try something new or trendy in your industry or your field. For me, I'm in marketing, so something is always coming up with marketing, whether it's a new social media app or a new platform to help you manage data or analyze data, something is always coming up. So in your industry or in your field, is there something new that's going on? Is there some new buzz around something? And if there is, I want you to commit yourself to explore that. For me, I have been off the TikTok wave. I haven't really given it a shot, but this year I told myself maybe I'll go ahead and give it a try. Now I know TikTok is not new, so do not come for me. It's been trending for a while, but I've been avoiding it, and I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot. But what is new in your industry? Is it a new trend? Is it a new software? Is it a new leader? Did a new book just come out? Go ahead and commit to exploring that this year. Next is to get back into the habit of learning something new in general, or just learning, period. I was guilty of doing what a lot of people do, and that is graduating from college and not learning anything new outside of that degree. If you have not been to school in a while, if you haven't learned anything new in a while, if you haven't discovered anything new in a while, 2022 is the year that you want to do that. You don't have to go back and get a degree. You don't even have to get a certification, but maybe take a one-day course or some sort of a class where you can learn something new. Maybe it's a new language, maybe it's a new certification, maybe it's a new process, maybe it's a new something. But this year, I want you to commit to getting back into the habit of learning something. And try to aim for learning something new at least once a quarter, depending on how complex or how in-depth the new thing that you're learning is. If it's a software like maybe Salesforce or something super technical, maybe you'll need a full year and a half. But if it's something simple like just brushing up your Microsoft Excel skills, or maybe deep diving into Microsoft Teams, maybe that's only going to take you a couple of weeks, or maybe just a single day course. But get into the habit of learning something new again. Another idea is to create a career plan if you do not have one, or maybe update or make some changes to your existing one if you have one. Now, I will be the first to admit that up until recently, I had no idea what a career plan was, and I did not have one. I am in my early 30s, and I have just now created my very first career plan based on where I see myself maybe 5, 10, and 12 years from now. So if you don't have one, I encourage you to create one or to team up with a career coach so that you can build one from scratch. On your career plan, you should be able to clearly list the job titles that you may want to have 3 to 5 to 10 or maybe 15 years from now, what it is that you want to be doing, what it is that you don't want to be doing. Maybe it includes the type of companies that you want to work for and all the things that you'll need to do in order to reach those goals. So for me, I want to say in about 5 to 7 years, I hope to be a marketing director. And on my plan, there are a series of things that I need to complete and do in order to achieve that goal. That includes going back to school. That includes getting certain types of experience on my resume. That includes also maybe trying to find a marketing board where I can join to be like a marketing board member or something along the sort. So figure out where you see yourself a couple of years from now as part of your career plan, and then start figuring out the steps that you'll need to do to get there. Next on the list is that you should start or launch a professional brand if you do not have one. In the first video that I shared on my channel this year, which included a series of 2022 resume tips and hints, I talked about how you should have links on your resume this year. You should have a personal website. You should have an Instagram handle. You should have your LinkedIn profile at least. And if you don't, 2022 is the year to start that. I'm not saying that you have to start a coaching business. I'm not saying that you have to start a leadership, you don't have to become a leadership guru. You don't have to write a book, but start leveraging the power of the internet and the power of media to start attracting opportunities to you this year. This way, if you're looking to leave your job, maybe your job search doesn't take as long as it did before. Maybe you find out about hidden opportunities from somebody who slides in your DMs. You can start very simply by sharing maybe a tip once a week, sharing a hint once a week, or making your profile public if it's private. Just be mindful of what you're sharing and make sure that it's accomplishing the goal that you are setting. Speaking of LinkedIn, that's actually the next thing on this list. If you are not using LinkedIn or if you do not have a LinkedIn profile, 2022 is the year to start. There are so many perks to using LinkedIn, such as finding jobs that are exclusively posted on there and may not be posted anywhere else, being able to connect and communicate directly with recruiters, and being able to network with other professionals. It doesn't take long to set up your profile if you do not currently have one. It takes less than 30 minutes. And if you have an existing profile but you have not been active, I want you to start getting on LinkedIn at least 10 to 15 minutes a day, commenting on posts, maybe sending out some connection requests, and following some new company pages to build up your audience, build up your following, and get in the habit of being on there. If you can spend all day on Facebook, if you can spend all day on Instagram and TikTok, then you can spend some time on LinkedIn too when it comes to your career. So those are some career goals that you should have on your list for 2022. You don't have to do all of them, but I encourage you to choose maybe 1 to 3 or 3 to 5 of them and see them all the way through. I promise you at the end of this year, you'll be so glad that you did. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and give it a like or a thumbs up at the bottom. And if you need assistance with your resume, feel free to reach out to me. You can email me directly at hello@thompsonresumes.com. You can also visit my website, www.thompsonresumes.com. I will see you all next week with another helpful video. Bye, you guys.